Lesson 2, Unit 4. The Logical Framework, Part 1. The Logical Framework Matrix, or LFM, is a tool for improving the planning, implementation, management, monitoring, and evaluation of the project. It is a way of structuring the main elements in a project and highlighting the logical linkages between them. The Logical Framework Matrix is the main output of the entire project analysis phase and summarizes the results of all preceding steps in a condensed form. The matrix provides a summary of the preferred approach from the objective tree. The matrix outlines the logic of the results change, the impact, outcomes, output, and activities of the project. Traditional formats of the log frame are generally presented as a 4x4 grid with 16 boxes. The first column is the project intervention logic. The second column is for the objectively verifiable indicators for each level of the results change. The third column contains the means of verification for the indicators, and the last column contains the assumptions for each level of the results chain. Organizations use different terminologies for the project summary. This chart shows the terminology used by some international development organizations. There is no right or wrong in any of these examples. Depending on the organization, the levels of the hierarchy of objectives can have different names. What is important is to be consistent in the use of the terminology during the life of the project. For the purpose of this course, we will use the following terminology: impact, outcomes, outputs, and activities. The steps to develop the log frame matrix include the definition of the project top-down objectives. This is the hierarchy of objectives or the results change. Then, to determine how to measure progress, identification of indicators. Then is to determine the means to verify progress. These are the sources of information on data indicators. And then to identify the necessary conditions. These are the assumptions or the favorable conditions for the success of the project. The first step in the development of the LFM is to define the objectives. This is the results change that describes the logic of intervention. The LFM objectives represent the hierarchy of results. It describes the causal relationship between activities, outputs, outcomes, and impact. The top levels, impact, and outcomes are objectives the project contributes and has some influence but no control. The bottom objectives, activities, and outputs are in direct control of the project. Sometimes it is possible to link the chosen option from the objective tree into the first objectives column of the log frame. It depends on the complexity of the original problem and on the level and detail of the problem analysis. Sometimes the original core problem translates into the outcome, sometimes into the impact goal. In this diagram, the results from the objective tree are integrated into the first column of the matrix. The documentation developed in the problem and objective analysis are an important source to develop the log frame matrix. The vertical logic is based on the principle of causality, which describes the relationship between cause and effect. From activity to impact, there is a sequence of three causal relationships in which a given level is related to the level above in the same way as means is related to its objectives. The vertical logic identifies what the project intends to do and clarifies the causal relationships. In order for a log frame to be useful, the logic must be correct. A simple way to test the logic of the log-frame is to use an if-then process. If we complete activities, then we create the outputs. If we deliver the outputs, then the outcomes can be achieved. If the outcomes are achieved, then the project will contribute to the impact. At the top is the project impact or project goal. The goal constitutes the long-term vision of the project. It describes the long-term social and economic benefits to which the project will contribute. and describes why the project is important for the beneficiaries. This is the long-term development objective to which the project contributes. This is an important definition. The project does not have control but contributes to this higher goal. Changes that occur at this level cannot be fully attributed to the project. For example, the goal reduce illness related to water and sanitation related diseases in the target communities. The project will contribute to this target, but other projects or initiatives can also be contributing to this goal. At the next level is the project outcome. It describes the changes that come as a result of the project deliverables. Outcomes are not fully within the control of the project. They express the changes in behaviors, knowledge, practice, and attitudes, which are beyond the control of the project. For example, increase in the practice of safe hygiene and sanitation in the households. This outcome is achieved by the beneficiaries who have changed a behavior. The next level is the project outputs. These are the products or services delivered by the project. These are also known as the specific deliverables of the project, and the project has full control and is responsible for them. Outputs are expressed in the past tense. For example, community water points constructed or rehabilitated. At the final level are the project activities. The activities describe the actions the project will take to achieve each output. The project has full control of the activities, and it involves the use of the project resources in the most efficient manner. Activities are always expressed using the present tense. For example, provide training on safe hygiene and sanitation. An important element of the LFM is to have objectives that clearly describe the value of the project deliverables, changes, and impact. Objectives should be SMART. SMART objectives are used in the description of the project outcomes and outputs. Specific means the objective is clear and unambiguous. Stakeholders can understand it. Measurable means it can be quantified to measure progress. Relevant means it is pertinent and applicable to the problem. And time-bound means the objective has a time frame. When formulating the project results, it's important to use the right words that express a change. Here are some examples of words used for this purpose: improved, increase, strengthen, reduce, enhanced. Note that these verbs are always written in the past tense and they all reflect a change. An area of common confusion is the difference between outputs and outcomes. Output is what the project delivers with a high degree of control and is the direct consequence of an activity. An output helps achieve an outcome. An outcome is a change in behavior or conditions resulting from the project deliverables, the output, and it's beyond the control of the project, and it's achieved by the beneficiaries, and is a change that can be measured only after some time. In the next unit, we will explore the other elements of the log frame matrix: the indicators, the means of verification, and the assumptions.